Hi, Linda K. Gifford here. We're wrapping up the S in spades this week. We've been doing spirit, which is the last S in my spades program. In brief, S, the shame is not yours. P, separate the past from the present. A, ask for what you want, don't just take what's given. D, don't wait to feel okay to be okay. E, educate and advocate. If you've been with me along the way, you know we've spent an entire week on each one of these topics. And the live streams are mostly on YouTube. I need to load the last few up there. You can go back, and I believe there's like over 80 live streams now going back over the last couple of years. And since I got serious on March 1st, I've been sending these there. So CSA survivor Linda K. Gifford here. And the spades program I've developed in tandem with writing my book, my book's finished, it's just getting organized. It's called Self-Talk, My Continuing Efforts to Survive Childhood Sexual Assault. And I discovered that I could use this acronym SPADES to spell out a way to easily, considering you're a CSA survivor and you have CPTSD, or you wouldn't be here, or somebody you love does, or you're a support personnel, since you're already in that boat, then it's logical that you may have intimacy issues, that you may have a lack of understanding of the differentiation between sex and intimacy with sex. Because I just discovered recently, I've talked about this a lot, but just the prep for those who are new, I discovered within the last 2 years that I could be physically attracted to someone beyond just wanting to be with them, in the sense that I wanted to make them happy, and I wanted to make them happy as a wife, as a sexual partner, but I never felt chemically attracted to them beyond the I had sex because I was supposed to have sex, and I didn't hate it, but so I didn't think I had a problem. And this is what I'm getting to. And this whole week about spirit also involves selfishness and selflessness, and I want to talk about these concepts. We talked at length yesterday about how I encourage you to examine your religion and accept the part that's about goodness and kindness and love, and reject the part that's about marginalizing women and others. Okay? Won't go into that at length. I'll post yesterday's live stream later. I haven't yet. It wasn't done. It has to be processed by them. Anyway, so in tandem with the A in spades, which I want you to remember each of these letters all the time. You're not going to go through one and then graduate from the S. Okay, the shame is not mine. Graduate from the P. Separate the past from the present. No, these are things you're going to do every day. That's, again, let me say, I am not a therapist. I am not a doctor. I'm a CSA survivor. And I just took apart what works for me. And I have learned so many things, and I've gone from being completely, married and divorced 3 times, because I had the inability to even be honest with me. I wasn't a liar, I wasn't a cheat, nothing like that, but I didn't understand there's a deeper level of physicality and intimacy where you really want someone, and I don't mean in a grotesque porn whatever. I mean, CSA survivors never had the chance to decide who they were going to have sex with the first time. So we ended up substituting sex for intimacy later, knowing that it's part of it all, and again, not necessarily hating it. It's like, but then when you discover, I should have this on. Then when you discover this whole other level, it's like, oh, okay, everything I knew was wrong. Life before was school. No offense to my ex-husbands, but I realized that I didn't even give them an honest version of me, because none of them even knew that I had been traumatized for years. They didn't know I was groomed and assaulted. I didn't see myself as the victim. I saw myself as part of the problem. I saw myself as guilty and shameful too, because I was groomed into it. And that's something we talk about a lot. I'm not going to do that now because that's part of us, the first us, which is the shame is not yours, and understanding grooming. And we're going to start that again next week. So if you want to talk about that Monday through Thursday next week, that is what we're going to talk about, is starting again with the Spades program. And we're going to do 6 weeks, a letter each week. But we're back to us spirit. And I'm going to make my case for you that being selfish is the only way you can truly be selfless. If you are not receiving what makes you happy, then you are pretending, you're trying to be a pawn, you're trying to be something for someone else, but you're not sharing. And this is how I have to say most couples, I believe, from my own experience, again, not a doctor or therapist, but from my own study experience and talking to people, it's certainly true of CSA survivors, and it's, I believe, true of most people I know, that they are in what I call social constructs of marriages and partnerships instead of actually being in chemical drawn love to them. And I suppose if that's all you want and you're both okay with that, whatever. But I wanted nothing more than to be deeply, truly in love while not even being able to bring to the table, which I didn't know then, but I do now, but I wasn't even able to bring to the table the basics to be loved in the way I wanted to be loved. I wasn't smelling out my partner, as I call it now. You know, wild horses couldn't have kept me away from my current and forever partner. And that taught me for the first time animal instinct. He had already gotten through my mind. You know, they already won over my whole mind and met the ethical code and all of that. But so do a lot of my friends, you know, that I don't want to sleep with. So when I discovered this pull, like, please have sex with me. You must, you know, that was new to me. And only when that happened to me did I realize that I had been missing it. And then I started talking to other CSA survivors about my discovery and find that I think that it's just universal, this confusing sex with intimacy. So you want to combine the two, but you need to unravel thinking that sex is a substitute for intimacy. We think if someone is accepting us physically and they seem happy, even if you're not having orgasms, even if you're not physically happy, you're so busy making them happy that when their happiness is achieved, you think you're happy. And I'm telling you, there's a higher level, and it starts with you. And that's why you have to be selfish to be selfless, because only in receiving fully can your partner experience the connection with you that is possible. Then you meet as equals on a playing field that I'm telling you can be ethereal, can be just like leaving mind and body. And that's an experience I think people, personally, I would never be in a marriage that wasn't having that. And this is, again, I refuse to even, it makes me mad that these people, sorry, some of you people, ruin the concept of marriage, because it should be about two people coming together. But in real life society, the coming together part was natural and organic in the best case scenarios. But then the falling apart part, that's all the marriage seems to be for, is a social commitment, so that it's a contract, so when things mess up, you can get out of it. You've got a legal ground to stand on. And to me, I always felt like going into a marriage under that sucked. Like when I got married the third time, been divorced the third time too, but when I married him, we had an actual marriage, but I didn't turn in the marriage certificate because it meant nothing to me. The wedding meant everything to me, but a piece of paper, if it's an insurance advantage or a tax advantage, sure, I'm happy to make it legal if the day comes that that's something. But marriage, what a person should be in, I believe, to be the most fulfilled. It should be satisfying to you, not just, I've got the house, I've got the check in the boxes, I've got, somebody stable and coming home. It should be blissful. You should live life in joy. And if you don't want to live life in joy and you think it's okay to just settle, you shouldn't be with me on my live streams. You can just be here to be pissed at me and I have been told and called I'm selfish. And, I'm like, yes, thank you for noticing. I cultivated that. I earned it. I did. We all did. Just because we're alive. I made it through Stardust. I deserve freaking cupcake and champagne just for making it through Stardust and my father's sperm count to end up being here. I mean, think about it. I'm just reading in the comments there. Yeah. So, that is what I want to say about spirit. So to recap the week, and how it all ties together, spirit is not the same as God. These are key points, key takeaways this week. Spirit and God are not the same thing. You can do whatever you want with your idea and concept of God and love, naturally, but please be the person who tries to make a change for those who are less fortunate instead of being the person who feels sorry for them but doesn't do anything. That was an important point. Be the change. You know what? I'm like finishing this, what's turning into like an e-course, except they're like, you should sell this. You should sell it to things for $1,000. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But I would like you to join in a Zoom group. I already decided. I'm acting like you have a choice. But we're going to be able to talk one-on-one, interact in our Zoom sessions. And I thought, hey, how about everybody who subscribes? And that means, as little as like $5 a month can jump in on the Zoom sessions. And we will all talk with each other and one-on-one with however many we logically want to fit on a Zoom session. What, a dozen? We can make that decision. In any case, sweetsurvivor.com will take you to my store, feelgoodfairtrade.com right now, but I'm very close. I'm actually just waiting for the domain, which I had it as a subdomain because I was raising money for Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund, my charity. I was raising money through my store, feelgoodfairtrade.com, which is going to be 5 years old in May. Yes. Please go buy something after this. Please go buy something after this. feelgoodfairtrade.com. But what was I saying? What does that have to do with everything? So part of the reason I'm on here is because it gives me educating and advocating, which is the E in spades, makes me feel that I'm doing something to change the future to make sure that what happened to me has less of a chance of happening to others. As well as because like I'm a songwriter, and when people like send you letters saying that a song changed their life, you suddenly go, oh, I didn't take myself seriously, but if you're taking me seriously, then maybe we're resonating here. So throwing down and working out this course, I'm going to just make my trigger guide, the Surviving in Spades program. And how's this? From trigger to happy. How to get from trigger to happy. Wouldn't that look good? Trigger, happy. Suck you in with a big title. Okay, working on it. But I want you to subscribe. Right now you can't because it's not built, but it will be soon. So hang in there. I'll let you know. But we're days away. I mean, it's built. It's just waiting to be transferred. And that's takes up to a week. So I expect within the next couple of 3 days that the domain will have successfully transferred and sweetsurvivor.com will actually take you there instead of to feelgoodfairtrade.com. But by all means, go to both. So have we touched on be the change? That was part of it. Spirit, don't be that person who doesn't do anything. Be the one that does. Don't just feel sorry for people. Feel sorry for people and do something about it. Do something about it, you know? And then we want to be super careful when it comes to spirit, not to confuse religion with, thank you for helping me write my guide, not to confuse religion with culture. Okay? Culture cannot disguise itself as religion. It does all the time, but when you... Oh, and that a subshoot of that is if your father tells you whose dick is going to be in your vagina for the rest of your life, hence otherwise called an arranged marriage, then he needs to re-examine his priorities, because that's perverted. Your father shouldn't be thinking about who's going to put their dick in your vagina. And I know people are like, oh, that's so crude, but that's what it is. I'm breaking it down for you because I want you to see the consequences of accepting an arranged marriage. Your father's going to decide, instead of everything I'm trying to tell you about learning to have real intimacy, to have real joy, to have real orgasms, to have the kind of connection with your partner where you both forget you're human. If you don't want that stuff, bye-bye. You're wasting your time here unless you just want to hate on me. But if you do, then you've got to put yourself first. And you don't have to feel bad about that. That doesn't make you a selfish bitch. That makes you a human who is going to be so honest that the person that clicks with them will be real for them and you. You'll have a real honest connection. Nobody's lying. Nobody's hiding. That's a beautiful thing. And I encourage you not to let the patriarchy suck it from you, and from especially those who have other than cis-normal gender identities or identifications. It's just disgusting to think, and examine your religion here too. If your religion disparages against others who are just living their life the way that feels right to them and not hurting anybody, what do you care? If you're really concerned about what consenting adults do in bedrooms, then I think you're the perv. Just like when I said, if you're a daddy who thinks you can arrange your daughter's marriages, you're a perv. You shouldn't be thinking about your daughter's vajayjay. That's gross. And if you're the daughter, run. Get out. Or change your culture from within, better yet. Separate the parts of your religion that are real spirit. And you will know spirit. You will know spirit when you see it, when you have it, because it feels good. When you look at the path in front of you and one step feels right, even if it's the impoverished step, even if it's the risky step, if that's what feels right, there's your spirit. That's spirit. If there's love and goodness and kindness in the hearts of you or something or whatever that you experience, that's where God lies. So use your religion as a springboard. But if your culture accepts disparaging and marginalizing others, women and any others, then you have to reject that and you have to change it. So every letter blends together. That's why my spades, I don't even know what to call it. It's not really a program. It's just learn every letter and do them all day, every day. Always remember the shame is not yours. Always separate the past from the present. And we spend lots and lots and lots of time talking about how to do that, because that's the big one, the CPTSD experience. And that involves understanding the neurobiology of a brain that has learned to dissociate while it was still forming, and the fact that that changes you. But you must not despair, because I've learned you can, Shakespearean on you. I've learned that you can dissociate for good, not evil. So you can't get rid of your dissociative skills, but you can stop using them to suffocate yourself into not thinking about what happened to you. You can use them to start Xing out of your life. I call it demanifestation. Everyone's all into manifesting. And I was like, well, that's cool. And I tried to manifest. I tried to manifest a bunch of money that's owed to me. And it hasn't come yet. And I'm still trying to manifest it really hard. I'm not trying to not imagine that it won't come like I'm supposed to, because I'm jinxing it. But I'm human. So I'm like, God, this is so confusing. This creation shit is so confusing. Then I thought, why not just remove? Think of manifesting as Removing what is infesting. Oh, I got to write that down. Infesting. Is removing what doesn't fit your picture. Just kick it out. It doesn't matter if there's nothing left in your picture. Something will come. Now the power of attraction will only leave in your picture what you desire, what you want, what you will accept. So abusive people, get rid of them. You know, annoying children, kick them. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Again, I am not a doctor. I just play one on TikTok. No, I don't even do that. She's like you. I'm a CSA survivor, but I'm probably 20 years ahead of you in therapy and realizations and through lots of screwing up and lots of self-examination. That's the key. You can be the person who never gets over it, or you can be the person who accepts what happened to you but doesn't want to talk about it, or you can join me and be the person who accepts what happened to you but is still fucking pissed about it, and you're going to change the future with me. We're going to change the future. And the way to do that is to keep your own spirit intact. So for those who say, I must be so angry, and they feel worried about my soul or sorry for me, you know, the bless your heart, those who really, really can't stand you, but they like to couch it in some kind of religious, oh, I'm going to pray for you. It's like, well, bless your hearts. Find someone better to pray for. I'm good. I don't need forgiveness in my heart to have spirit in my soul. I don't need to get over being hateful towards people who are evil. I don't have to do that. But I can realize prison's not a good idea and instead direct my energies into educating and advocating, because that is how I keep flinging the anger out of me. So if people tell you that there's something wrong with you because you are still angry about the fact that you were sexually assaulted whenever, as a child or whenever, or they tell you, you must forgive to move on, it's like, I'm here to tell you that's utter bullshit. No, you don't. You look at God in the world and you take that shit and you use it like a tool. You take love and goodness and kindness and you wield it like a sword. And your gut is your mouth. And you use it and your voice. And we will change the language of society. And we will teach people that you cannot sexualize little children in the media and everywhere else without consequences of people viewing little children as fuckable. That's the consequence. So while I have that anger, I have such joy and peace because I've learned peace. I've learned meditation. I've learned 5 years ago when I opened my store, will be 5 years old next month. That's how I got started in all this. I couldn't get online to save my life, barely. Facebook a little before that. And then I founded feelgoodfairtrade.com. We had a different name, but we changed the name. And we're 5 years into selling women artisan entrepreneur products. So let me wrap up as always by telling you, begging you, asking you for your support. Right now, we need your donations badly at Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund, and that is on both GoFundMe and Facebook pages. Also, live gifts here will ultimately be donated to the Sweet Survivor Rescue Fund. SWEET stands for Survivors Will End Earth's Trafficking. And I've got a bunch of sweet, literally, merchandise designed and about to come out. It's waiting for that transfer I told you about for the sweetsurvivor.com domain to be transferred from Shopify to its new host, its own site. So that takes up to a week, and it's been a few days. So any time now, there'll be sweet merchandise, and please support that. Also, when you support feelgoodfairtrade.com, you keep a roof over my head, which I'm barely doing right now, to tell you the truth. We don't have advertising money, so it's all up to you. I need you to share the word. I need you to support Feel Good Fair Trade and Sweet Survivor. So stay tuned and come back. And next week, we're going to go back to the beginning of Spades. I should recap. S, the shame is not yours. And next week, we're going to dig in deep to how grooming happens, what it is, why we have the feelings about it, dissociation, the neurobiology of dissociation, and that's going to lead into how to separate the past from the present, which is really an intensive week of dealing with your CPTSD experiences, how they come on, and how to train yourself out of it. I've got a TikTok explaining trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy that I either already put up or I'm about to. I can't remember which, but I think that's it. But nothing. All right. Take it easy. I'm not going to be doing Fridays from now on because I'm getting ready to move. I'm writing a book and I have to have a life. No, just kidding. I love you guys. Really, you are my community, and I'm learned so much from you, and I'm so happy to include your stories in my survivor stories. So message me to anonymously or not so anonymously be included in the survivor story addendum to my book, Self-Talk, My Continuing Efforts to Survive Childhood Sexual Assault, which will be available soon. I'll talk to you soon.